believe passionately in entrepreneurial fire, in giving everyone, everywhere, the chance to do their best and feel even better. We believe in you. We're here to empower every beautiful dimension of you. And at Mary Kay, we know we've all got a few things in common. We're all worthy of a community that understands us. We all deserve flexibility, and we should get to run our day instead of it running us. So maybe that's what brought you here to get to know us. Mary Kay has been a groundbreaking, trailblazing company for more than 60 years, and we follow in the footsteps of the original beauty influencer. Like many women in the 60s, Mary Kay Ash was not treated fairly in the workplace, so she made a change and founded a company that gives everyone the opportunity they deserve. Today, Mary Kay continues to be family-owned and continues empowering others in more than 35 countries. We are a company driven by the idea that you can do what you love, be who you want, and earn extra income on your terms. Our idea is powerful in its simplicity. First, Mary Kay creates hundreds of products that people crave. And yes, we win industry awards. Conduct 500,000 tests a year for safety, quality, and performance. Hold more than 1,600 global patents. And products are made in our own global manufacturing and research facility. Because what gets us really excited is how much people love our products. Because your confidence is our obsession. Next, we keep the business model beautifully simple too. Independent beauty consultants are 100% independent business owners. They buy directly from Mary Kay, then sell directly to customers to earn money. That's it. No wholesalers, no middlemen, no one holding them back, period. They enjoy the flexibility to work a Mary Kay business a lot or a little at parties, online, and on social, all while learning life skills from others and getting digital tools to help along the way. And if they're ready to lead a team of their own, they can drive the business as far as they want. Beauty consultants have one of the highest profit potentials on product sales in the world. Plus, at Mary Kay, they are always celebrated. Small wins are recognized, and big accomplishments are richly rewarded by a community of entrepreneurs and corporate employees around the world. Working together, we've also built a long history of giving. Mary Kay and its 4 company-sponsored foundations has given more than $200 million in monetary and product donations since we began tracking our philanthropic efforts. We support life-saving research and survivor empowerment with more than $24 million awarded to cancer research innovation from the Mary Kay Ash Foundation. And we strive to protect the environment by planting more than 1 million trees, powering our global headquarters and manufacturing with 100% renewable energy, and achieving zero landfill site status in our global manufacturing facility. We are a brand with a purpose, and we hope you see the amazing potential we see for a bright future together. This is where you can come to thrive. This is where you can unleash your confidence. This is Mary Kay, empowering women entrepreneurs since 1963. Then, now, always.
Mike Rogers.
Well, hello, everyone. I am so excited that you have joined us. I'm going to get our guest speaker on here, spotlighted. Gallery.
Can't see you.
There's LYNNEA. There she is. There. Yeah, spotlight. Awesome. Welcome, everyone. Guest, if you will put your name and who invited you into the chat. And we're going to get started. Guest, any questions that you have, please pop them in the chat. Consultants, if you have questions, would you ask your director afterwards? But the leadership team that's on, will you please answer any of the questions? Because I am way too ADD to look at chat, answer questions, and stay focused on this conversation. And I'm really excited about this conversation. I am Otten-Sweeney. I'm a national sales director with Mary Kay. And I have one of my sister nationals with me that I don't really know well. She also comes from, we call it legacy lineage in Mary Kay. So she has been trained the same way I have but geographically and seminar wise, we have not crisscrossed at all. And so we were recently on an NSD prayer Zoom that was just a last minute thing. And really, it's a miracle if you can just throw something out to women who are busy. And within an hour, we were on the Zoom together. And so we are cross pollinating our people. And I love how God does that. He will bring the people together that you need to hear something from, because one of the things that I've come to appreciate and I look back at, which some guess this may be your first experience with Mary Kay at all. And hopefully what you walk away with is a couple things. You saw a lot in that video, but one, there's a lot more to Mary Kay than selling lipstick. And two, that the key to success in this is becoming God's best version of you, not for you to become like me or your recruiter or director or LYNNEA. So I get to ask LYNNEA questions. This is just like you joining us in. If I was sitting at a coffee shop, these are the questions that I would ask her just to get to know her a little bit better. So let's get started. LYNNEA, when Mary Kay intersected your life, where were you at? What season of life were you at? How did that happen?
Oh my goodness, I love this question. We had just relocated, so we were in a new state. My husband had taken a youth pastor position in Roanoke, Virginia, and we moved there. I had a toddler, and I was pregnant. And when I signed my independent beauty consultant agreement, I had a 2.5-year-old and a 9-month-old. So I gave birth to my baby girl. And that is when I got started with Mary Kay. So it was a crazy season. But I had fallen in love with the products and honestly, the culture. It was really awesome.
Looking back, like, what were you scared of? What could have held you back from saying yes? Because I'm sure we have guests on right now that maybe they never considered Mary Kay, but hopefully, from what they see or experience tonight, may consider either this is seed planting or seed harvesting time for them. What could have held you back from saying yes and giving this a shot?
Yeah. Well, back then they would say on a scale of 1 to 10, where's your interest level? And 1 was like, no, thank you. And 10 was like, I'm ready to get started. And I said, I'm a -1. And I said, I would never, ever, ever do anything in sales. My heartbeat was teaching and ministry. And, God has this great sense of humor, because I was like, no way, I will never do Mary Kay. I could not even sell Girl Scout cookies. But I fell in love with the products, Dawn, and I fell in love with the sisterhood. And that's what kept me coming back every quarter to try the new products and be in the space of Mary Kay people. And so eventually it was like a no-brainer. Like, okay, like you can sell this and make 50% profit, and you can get your products for half off. And, I talked myself in and out of that for a long time. And then I took that leap.
So how long ago was that? How long have you actually been in Mary Kay? And give us a recap of your Mary Kay journey, how that and your life at the same time. What does that look like?
Yeah. So goodness, I signed up in 2003. So, 21-year anniversary in June. Yes, in June. And so I've been with this company for 21 years. It's been amazing. I cannot imagine my life without Mary Kay. But when I started, I was shy. I was more of an introvert than an extrovert. I like to be behind the scenes. And I remember getting started thinking, oh my goodness, like there's no way I'm going to be successful at this. But I want you to hear how we see ourselves and how God sees us can be so different, because I joined Mary Kay and 4 months later I was a sales director and had earned the use of a car. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that was going to happen. I'm telling you right now, if you're listening and you're like, what? I never dreamed that. But because I was a connector of people, I loved connecting people. Like team building just started happening. And I was a stay-at-home mom, and I'd come home from teaching and people were looking for something alongside of me, relationships I had built throughout my life. And they were like, what are you doing? And how much do you make? So, and they were smarter than me. So they started to join my team, which propelled me forward very quickly.
Mhm.
And so that first year was such a like whoosh, I had two babies on my hips, and I'm growing my Mary Kay customers and my team, and we earned our first pink Cadillac. And then I had another child and another child. So I had 4 in 5 years, 4 children in 5 years. And what was so amazing about this opportunity is I was able to transition through all the seasons. My husband eventually began a church plant, and we moved 3 times in 2 years. And so just being able to take Mary Kay with me and build relationships was the biggest blessing that I never even saw. I was praying for a bridge into women's lives, but I had no idea it would come through Mary Kay.
I love, so in 2003, I was in national qualifications. I debuted January of 2004. And
Amazing.
so I've always loved the generational piece of this. So when I started, I was 23, no kids, not married, and now 38 years later. And so I'm now the women that were impacting me when I started. Your senior Karen Imperial was huge impact on me. She was very good friends with my director, Debbie Moore. And I look at when I went to business school, I like I knew that you tended to work with people your age, and the people who were older than you, very infrequently would they take you under their wing and mentor you because you were their competition. And in this, where it's like, come on, we want you to join us. And it's fun to see women in their, you have to be 18 to start, but in, 18, 19, 20, their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. I remember being at a Mary Kay event, and one of the directors was she was like in her early 90s. And that is very rare, but so much wisdom to be learned in that. Um, what most surprised you? So you started this, you were kind of nervous about it, but what has surprised you the most in your journey that you want these women to know about?
Yeah. Oh goodness. I think just y'all when when God plants seeds in your heart as a little child, we lose those dreams so easily, right? Because life just kind of has a way of knocking us down. And we get kind of on that hamster wheel. Well, I had no idea that God would take these little girl dreams inside of me and would bring them to fruition through something like Mary Kay. I mean, I couldn't see that. I didn't understand that. And I had this huge heart for missions, and the way that God just took this opportunity and the dreams he had planted inside of me and made them a reality was just beautiful and so unexpected. I mean, I just remember thinking, okay, this is it. This is insane. Like, how am I making money? I mean, I am just, like she said, like Dawn just said, y'all, it really was women coming alongside of me and taking my hand and teaching me. And I didn't expect that. I just expected to fail and not be good. But it was so amazing to see women come alongside and rally, like that girl, girl
Mhm.
power. Like, we're gonna rally behind you. And I was so surprised by all of that. And we through Mary Kay were able to build pink homes in Nicaragua for many years. And that just blows my mind. Truly, it does. Still to this day, I think, wow, that God could take an opportunity like Mary Kay and fulfill these really miraculous things that there's no other way. I don't know how else I could have been a part of that.
I want to hear more about that because before I knew you, I remember hearing about these homes in Nicaragua, and I think even kind of ran it as a promotion for your people. Maybe they had opportunities to earn money and go on the trip. So tell us a little bit about that, because that may spark something in people, like party with a purpose. People
Yes.
say, well, I'm not, into makeup, and I've never been a business person, and I'm shy, blah, blah, blah. But what are you passionate about? Like, what makes you
Right.
cry, when you hear about it? And all of the needs in the world, you have to have funds to change and support them and resource them. So tell them what that looked like for you. And then I'm encouraging everyone that's listening to this, whether you have a consultant number or not, like, you know, if God has put that on your heart, maybe you're listening to this because this is supposed to be a vehicle to fund that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And really, and it grew. You know, we always say, Mary Kay, your mind is like a rubber band. Like once it's stretched, it can't go back. And so those dreams were small at first, but then they kept growing. And then I began to realize, like, oh my goodness, these are things that have been inside of me that I never dreamed were possible. So God kept stretching
Mm.
that. And I realized, you know, wow, okay, the more successful I am with Mary Kay and my people are, the more, you know, income that's coming in, the more can go out as well, and we can be a blessing. And that could be anything. I mean, it doesn't have to be missions. I love, you know, that people get to build vacation homes for their grandbabies. I think that's incredible. You know, what is on your heart that you never dreamed could be possible, and you still to this day you're just having a hard time seeing it become a reality. And so that to me, Dawn, just the Pink Homes in Nicaragua, the way I did it is when my directors would hit a certain amount, I would put money in the, you know, account towards Pink
Mhm.
Homes in Nicaragua, and then we would celebrate a pink home being built. And one year, I think Sherry's on here. Sherry, instead of taking a, you know, a diamond ring, because Mary Kay gives real diamonds, like 3 carats and more, she decided to build a home, and she had never even been there. And what a
Mm.
blessing, that family that we, you know, we got to send her a picture of them outside that home, and it was just beautiful. And so they got to be a part and have, you know, have a connection with that. And so,
Mhm.
you know, it can change. It doesn't have to stay one thing. I mean, even
Mhm.
now, like some of Nicaragua has, since COVID, has been a little different.
Mhm.
And at one point we were just giving money towards Manifest, which was food to
Mhm.
provide.
Mhm.
And so it can change and it can be tweaked, and we're foster parents now, and that's a whole nother story. But y'all, listen, God's given you a purpose on this earth, and you are the only one that can walk that out. Like he's given each of us a purpose. And so my prayer is that, you know, if you're listening to this and you haven't figured that out, like just take that next step of obedience towards what you know, and then he'll give
Mhm.
you more light on what's next.
Mhm. So Debbie Moore, who was my director, she would always tell us that your dreams attached to someone else's. And we're seeing that, like you're sharing that. Mary Kay started this because she had a dream to give women an opportunity that she didn't feel that they had, you know, financially, flexibility wise. And so she gave them this, and she thought it was just for 9 women in Dallas. And now it's in 40 countries all over the world that women can fund their dreams, whatever it is. Um, if some of you are like myself, like Mary Kay, she built this business and said, when she's gone, if we protect these 3 things, this company continues on. Which this is important to know because I don't know about where you live. I live in Metro Detroit. There's a lot of layoffs going on, a lot of high level layoffs. I know a lot of people who they're losing jobs, people around them are losing jobs. And so this is something that people buy cosmetics, no matter what the economy is, alcohol, tobacco, and cosmetics. But I wasn't brought up. I was brought up to be educated to get a job and to be a good person, but dreams was not talked about in my household growing up. And so if that's you, you're like, what is this dream thing? Like, what does that have to do with business? Like, what does that have to do with me? Because Mary Kay, the 3 premises, one is God planted a seed of greatness in every single person, and it's our job to encourage it out through those cars, through the commission checks, that gorgeous ring, etc. And this month, if you're thinking of starting your business, Mary Kay's offering double credit on all the amazing gifts that they give away by the end of the seminar year in June. So generally, this is not going to happen again. So October is a month to not squander. But she said, everyone is a seed of greatness. And if you're like, I don't think I do, or like LYNNEA said, a lot of times reality has snuffed out those dreams. It's too late. I'm too old. I can't afford it. I encourage you to check out a book. It's called The Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkinson. It's beautiful, and it takes you through the journey of how ordinary decides to leave familiar and go towards his dream. I wish I would have started it way earlier in my Mary Kay business because I didn't understand how dreams come to fruition. It's planted as a seed. And like LYNNEA was saying, it just builds up and it changes and you get clearer and clearer and clearer on it, but it is attached to other people. It's so important. And where there's a dream, there's hope. And when people don't have hope, it's not good. Not good. What are some of your favorite gifts? So you showed your ring. What are some of your other favorite gifts or things that you can share? Cars. You've had lots of free cars, but what are your favorites?
Yes, I love that. I love that every couple years we would pick up a brand new pink Cadillac and my kids did not know anything else. And they just were like, what's it going to have? What's it going to look like, Mom? Is it going to have a touch screen? Is it going to have a sunroof? What a blessing. And all the money that was saved. I'm a real practical person, honestly. And just those things that really helped my family, that was huge. And then also the trips. I mean, honestly, like I am a quality time gal. So just the trips with my husband around the world. I mean, that right there was everywhere we've been. This is my dog right here, right here. Do you see my dog?
No.
He's not leaving me alone. But yeah, I mean, just the trips we always say to Rome, to Italy, to on the Mediterranean cruise, these islands we would never go to. We've got memories for a lifetime, Dawn, and that is the greatest gift, and places we would never see or travel. I mean, you don't go into ministry. Well, we're not in that kind of ministry to get rich. So, in teaching yes, I could have taught my whole life and retired, but wow, just what Mary Kay has given to our family. Private education, now college is expensive. So those kinds of things, you just can't put a price tag on. It's just amazing.
So you've helped lots of women. You've been successful yourself. You've helped lots of women be successful. You've an Offspring national sales director, which that is, Mary Kay always said, our paychecks are in direct proportion to how many women we've helped reach their goals. What are some success traits? Because women tend to think of what I'm not, like, I'm not this, I'm not this personality. I don't have this or that. What are some success traits that you see in women that have helped them be successful in their Mary Kay businesses?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Just really for me, I look at people who you don't have to be it doesn't matter if you're an introvert or an extrovert. Do you love people? Do you care about people? Because that is seen, people can pick up on that. And so if you're like, yeah, I'm not really a people person, but I say, well, you know what does that mean? Like, what do you mean when you say I'm not really a people person? Because it could be that you're shy. I was too. But I loved people. I genuinely loved people. And so if you love people, you love our products. I know some people join and haven't even tried our products. I loved the products first and then joined. But people, there's nationals who joined before they tried the products, Dawn, right? I've got national friends and I'm like, oh my goodness. But if you love our products, love people, if you're looking, for that sisterhood, it is such an incredible opportunity. And I would say, the faith part, and Dawn, I know you found your faith through Mary Kay. My faith grew through Mary Kay. And so, my relationship with God was, and I was in ministry, but I'm telling you, it was just amazing walking through a company with such incredible mentorship. It changed my life.
Yeah, I needed to see, I had grown up in church and been confirmed in a couple denominations, married in a different denomination, but I had never seen women read the Bible and apply it to their Monday through Friday life and their Saturday life. It was, their life wasn't all separated. And Mary Kay she knew that women worked better when their life was integrated. God, family, and career is done together. It's not in separate boxes. And I needed to see that, like, this is apprenticing. You're seeing women walk this out, not just be told it. We've talked about awards and success. And I'm sure there's people thinking, okay, well, have you ever missed a goal? Have you ever missed a goal? Have you ever been frustrated? Have you ever been disappointed?
plenty.
So,
I'm like, are you asking me that?
so share with them, because that Mary Kay, I remember I was trained by her and had the blessing of going my first 2 trips with her. But I remember her telling us, she goes, the only one that has fallen down more, so has bloodier knees than, a successful consultant is her director. And the only one that has bloodier knees than her director is her national. And the only one that has bloodier knees than the nationals is myself, because of what she had done to start this for us. So it's not if you're going to be disappointed, if you're going to be frustrated, or if you're going to fail. You're going to at some time or another. But I was taught the only way you can really fail is to quit.
Right.
And so that was a great caveat that I was taught at new consultant training. But share with everyone, like, what do you do when things don't turn out how you want them to, when you're disappointed, when you're frustrated? How have you turned that around?
Yeah. Oh, and Dawn, I believe that Mary Kate, like this company culture trained me on this, because I don't think I was very good at it. If I got frustrated or felt like someone didn't like me or I was failing, I would retreat. And so Mary Kay taught me frustration precedes growth. Mary Kay taught me, get your big girl panties on and get out there. And it grew me in ways that I never even would have imagined. My husband will tell you, like, I am not the same person. And he's like, and that's it, praise God. He loved me then, but
Right.
he's like, who you've grown to be as a wife, a mom, a leader, because I have missed so many goals, and had people tell me no, or tell me yes and then not return my call, or those things. Growing in those areas is just priceless, because you're going to grow as a more confident, more bold, and more authentic leader. And that's a great thing, I believe, a really great thing. So I've missed goals. I've missed, whether I'm going after a big, unit goal for our unit, or, a specific car, or I've missed goals as a national. So yes. And, but we are trained to Mary Kay. Dawn, I know you feel the same way. You get back up.
Yep.
And you keep going towards what God's placed on your heart, and you don't give up. You never give up. You never give up. Because on the other side of that could be the very step that unlocks the door to that next window.
Yeah. Let's talk about working through life, because that we were kind of talking about business things that were disappointing or frustrating, but I heard this term not too long ago, and I think it's very true, that life is hard. Mary Kay is not. And so people that are listening in on this, maybe at really hard times in life or messy times in life, what advice, recommendation do you have as you've navigated your Mary Kay business? Because I'm sure your life just hasn't been, unicorns and popcorn and, candy canes.
Right. And
for
right
21
now,
years.
yeah. And even right now, I mean, we have 3 kiddos with trauma in our home, and y'all, that's not easy. That's hard stuff. It's hard to, help kids learn how to regulate their little bodies, because they've seen trauma and abuse. And God calls us each to our own hard. But I will say, I am so grateful for Mary Kay, because Dawn, even this, like, you invited me to be a part of this, like the sisterhood, the culture, we have this culture that is, we've got each other's back. We care about each other. Mary Kay taught us it is not, this is not just like, oh, we're just saying these things. Like Dawn and I, we're going to deepen our friendship the more we get to know each other. So, I've stayed in her brother's home in Destin. He rents out a beautiful rental. And I've always known Dawn and respected and admired her. But now we get to deepen our friendship. That's Mary Kay. And so I tell people, you need Mary Kay. Like, when the going gets tough, we need something that is there for us, right? Because otherwise we isolate, and that's a dangerous place.
Yeah. Yep. I know. I remember when my daughter went to college. So both the kids were out of the house. And I remember sitting here going, oh my gosh, the sports are done. All the, driving all over the place was done. And it gets real quiet. And I'm like, I can see how women have a hard time with this season. And I was really grateful I had my business because I had people to call that had goals that they needed finances. They were single moms. They're paying, everything in their life. Mary Kay taught us that when you have something hard, like, grieving a divorce or a death or illness, just all the things we deal with in life. She said the best therapy is to go out and serve other people. And she said, you get your makeup at half off, put your face on, go and do the appointment. A lot of times you'll find out that you wouldn't trade places with other person because sometimes our situation, like there's a lot worse things going on and you can come home and just say, okay, God, thank you. Like, I know that, you allowed this to be sifted through your hand. And so you are going to provide and protect me on the other side. Mary Kay said, you can cry on the way home, put your makeup back on. Again, you're getting it at half off and go back out there and do it again. And that, looking back, I mean, I've known people that have been in counseling as long as I've been in Mary Kay, but they're talking about the same things over and over and over again versus progressing and being transformed and getting healthier in their responses to life because it's challenge right now. It's pretty crazy. So
Yeah, I agree. And
Mhm.
and you're what you're saying is so true. Mentorship is I
Mhm.
mean, people pay thousands of dollars for mentorship, coaching, counseling. We get that in Mary Kay. I
Uh-huh.
mean, honestly, and
Mhm.
I'm all for, whatever,
Yeah.
you need, but I'm just like, we get that. We get that
Mhm.
support, that sisterhood, that mentorship.
Yeah.
It's there. If we want it, it's there.
Right. Yeah. Self-improvement, spiritual growth, support. I think the culture right now is something that women are really attracted to and always have been. Women who are cheering you on versus competing or breaking down. Um, has in your life, has everyone, it sounds like your warm market was pretty supportive when you started, but have you bumped up against people who have not been supportive of your Mary Kay business? And how did you deal with it?
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. My mom was not supportive when I first started. She was like, your grandma said a pastor's wife should never sell anything. And I was like, oh wow, thanks, mom. But then of course I
Where
had
is that in the Bible? No.
then I had my grandmother who was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. You
Mm,
can earn a pink Cadillac. It's like I had two little, voices going on. And you really learn to just block it out and go, okay,
mhm,
what am I called to right now?
mhm,
And my mom is my biggest cheerleader now. She says
mm,
to me, like, Lynne, you're everything I wish I would have become. Like y'all, my mom has
mm,
struggled with anxiety, depression her whole life. And so I'm just like, oh, if I wouldn't have been obedient, like I've changed my mom's life too. And so that's amazing. But yes, I've come across all of it. I mean, you can get people who are just like, oh, this, you shouldn't be doing this, and I'm like, oh, okay. They don't get it. They just
right.
don't get it.
Mhm,
So I absolutely have run into the obstacles and the naysayers, like in your
mhm,
book that you're reading, the
mhm.
naysayers. You're gonna have that in anything in life. And Mary Kay, isn't Mary Kay the one that said, like, if you don't want to be criticized, say nothing, do nothing, be nothing, and you'll still be
Mhm,
criticized, right?
mhm,
And
mhm,
and so, I mean, no matter what, we're gonna have people criticize us.
mhm,
And I think that that's a part of life. And that was a really hard lesson for me because I'm such a nurturer and
mhm,
I want everyone to like me. Like when I was little,
mhm,
I wanted to be the peacemaker. And
mhm,
that's just not reality.
mhm,
And it's not the walk Jesus walked either. So,
mhm. Yeah. So in this day and age, so when I started in the mid 80s, people didn't have side hustles. They didn't, like, they were drowning in debt in the big 80s. They had the car, they had the house, but they had this much credit card debt. Now it's popular to have a side hustle. Direct sales is popular. what would you tell people, like, what's the difference between us and the other companies out there? What makes Mary Kay unique, Mary Kay Cosmetics, and this opportunity different?
Yeah, I mean, something that really drew me in, there were two things that really drew me in because I mean, I kept talking myself out of it. I would be like, okay, and then I would talk myself out of it. I can be a skeptic at heart. I analyze things a lot, but what I really loved is the God first, family second, career third, and I knew that Mary Kay was a Christian businesswoman, and that drew me. And I was like, is that for real? And then I met my senior Dawn Dunn. I started to watch and I'm like, this is real. And so it was just, that was amazing. And then the other part that really hit me, Dawn, honestly, was that we've been around for so long, like
Mm,
1963. And now watching so many companies close their doors, I'm just like, thank you, that we are a company that we have been through recessions and all, the market crash. We've
mhm,
been through it and we sustained. So those were really
mhm,
big for me.
mhm. So why do you think now is a good time for someone to start a Mary Kay business, or for a consultant maybe to consider doing more with their business, whether it's leadership or, building more skincare customers? What about
Yeah.
this time period do you see as an opportunity?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I love Sherry just had, six women get together and had like, I think what Sherry, like 1,200 in sales. Listen, y'all, women are still gathering. They want to get around tables or on a Zoom
Mhm,
and they want to have connection with each other. So why not? Like, why wouldn't you go out and make an extra 200, 300, 500 for your family? Or more a week,
mhm,
just doing that as a side hustle, and then growing a culture where you can have this sisterhood and you can create God family career.
mhm,
I wanted to have an opportunity where I could share my faith, and that was important to me. And even as a church planter's wife, when we would move into new communities, I wanted to be able to get into homes. Well, guess what? Mary Kay was a great way for that door to be swung wide open for me,
mhm,
and then to build a relationship. And so for
mhm,
me right now, I think people are hungry for relationships. They're lonely.
mhm,
they
mhm,
they need they need us, just like
mhm,
people go to their hairdresser and they share their whole life. When you get face to face with someone and you help them with their skin, those are
mhm,
those are personal things,
mhm,
and help them feel beautiful. So I believe now more than ever,
mhm,
like our society, our
mhm.
world, they need to be sprinkled with some Mary Kay.
Ah,
So,
uh-huh, the pink bubble goes a
yeah,
long
yeah,
ways. Well, and I'm thinking, when we talk to women about the opportunity, the most common things that we hear, I'm not the salesperson type, which you talked about, being shy. We talked about some people are going to be supportive, some are not. Time, we talked about that. Geographic moves, you've talked about that. We've talked about the economy. We've talked about making money with this. So, is there anything else that you would like guests to know that are maybe thinking about this for themselves when they listen to a replay of this or tonight?
yeah. You just said something that made me think of something. Time. I
Mhm,
remember saying I don't have time.
mhm,
And Dawn taught me something. Dawn Dunn taught me something that was so helpful. She said, look at your day as 9 to 12, 12 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 9. And you may only have a lunch break or an hour, but look at your day. And I remembered, looking at my days and going, okay, I don't think I have much time, but we really do. We all have the same amount of time, and going, okay,
yes.
where can I work my Mary Kay consistently? How can I touch it so that I can grow something for our family that's
Mhm,
sustainable, that lasts? And
mhm,
because I was touching my business and I was putting it in my calendar as like a job, if you have an extra 3 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours, 20, I mean, I don't know what your situation is, but listen,
mhm,
I'm telling you right now, an appointment, you can do it in a couple of hours, an hour over Zoom, and walk away with that extra 100, 200 or more in your pocket.
mhm,
That's like, right, Dawn? I mean, that's like,
Yeah.
to me, that was life changing because I could
Mhm.
be a present mom. I could work from home
Mhm.
and set my own schedule and have freedom and
Mhm.
flexibility.
Mhm. Okay, two more things. So I'd like you to share. We have a need for leaders in Mary Kay. So if you're a guest listening to this or a consultant and you know you're a leader, God made you a leader, whatever you do, you end up leading in it. Share with them, you know, a little bit about this time frame and why it's important, but also what the opportunity is for them to step into leadership now. And then if you would wrap us up with the guest, from what they've heard, we'd love to hear how you wrap up that conversation so that they have the ability to be decisive and make a choice.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, if you're a leader, oh my goodness, like, we want you to lead, and there is no other opportunity out there that is as rich as Mary Kay. Like, and I mean that in just so many aspects, not just financially,
Mhm.
but also just the depth of what you're going to get as a leader. But for me, that I never dreamed that I would make six figures because that wasn't me. If you're a leader, you probably dream about that, or you might be already making it.
Mhm.
I never dreamed about it because I was, a school teacher, and I just didn't have those dreams. So when I replaced my income and more that first year, and then I doubled and tripled, and I was like, what is going on? The compensation plan is, I've never seen another one. Dawn, I'm sure you feel the same. I've never
No.
seen another one
Mm-mm.
out there like it.
No.
I mean, I have
Mm-mm.
looked at several, and
Mhm.
it makes me scratch my head when people don't really take full advantage of our compensation plan.
Mhm.
Because I'm just like, wow, Mary Kay gives us so much, so
Mhm.
much. And we need leaders. Yes, our company right now, we are looking for leaders. We're looking
Yep.
for women who want to lead other women and be, compensated, not just financially, but goodness, the sisterhood, the culture. And a lot of our nationals are retiring,
Mhm.
and that makes our hearts really sad
Mhm.
because Mary Kay built this company with the nationals as her daughters that led their
Mhm.
areas. And so we need people to step up and to lead other women and how to build and grow their organization. So, yes, I love working with leaders. I know you do too, Dawn.
Mhm.
It's just my favorite. And as far as guests, I don't know where you're at tonight, or what your thoughts are, what you came on here thinking or hoping you would get. But I love to ask, what's the worst thing that can happen if you get signed up? Because for me, I I talked myself in and out of it for a year, y'all. That's there's my personality coming out. But when I finally said yes, I was fully committed. But here's what I want you to know. My husband finally said, "Lynette, what's the worst thing that can happen?" So I want you to ask yourself that. You can put it in the chat. What's
Mhm.
the worst thing that can happen? And
Mhm.
I was like, huh, I'm going to get my products that I love at a half off. I mean, that's a pretty good deal. And then my husband said, and what's the best thing that can happen? And in my very limited thinking at the time, this is what I said. I guess I could make some extra money and help with the bills. Y'all, I mean,
Mhm.
literally, I was thinking I could take the kids to get Chick-fil-A because we had gone from two salaries to one. We had bought a home in a new location. We had kiddos, and we had some school loans, some credit card debt. And I was feeling like strapped, like just it was getting like that strangling feeling. And God knew. He knew, but I was a little resistant because I doubted me. So I want you to know that if you're doubting you, that's normal. But also, give yourself the freedom to allow your wings to spread and fly, because something could be holding you back. It could be fear. It could be, you could wear a cloak of shame around you, maybe because of, something you've been through. Mary Kay wants to give you those wings to fly. We want that for you. And so with this opportunity this month being just 10 to get in, but 100 total with the starter kit, There's no time like the present. It's amazing. And so I would just say A, B, or C. I keep it really simple. Like
Mhm.
A, you say, absolutely, why not? What is the worst thing that can happen? I can give this a try. And it can lead to great things. B, buy me coffee and tell me more. You got my
Mhm.
interest. I'm thinking, but I'm
Mhm.
slow to warm. I need some more info. And
Mhm.
C, I'm a happy customer.
Mhm.
I'm a happy customer. So where would you fall in that, ladies? Like what would that be for you? Because we would love to help you get started today. And
Mhm.
when I did finally say yes, I was kicking myself that I didn't
Mhm.
say yes um a year prior. Like I was like,
Earlier.
what
Mhm.
was wrong with me?
Right.
I paid full
Right.
price for that
Right.
whole year.
Mm. Well, and I'm looking in recap, there's some questions, and you guys are asking training questions. And so that's good. That means that there's something about this that appeals to you. It means right now for $10, right now, the person who invited you can send you a link. You'll get a code. You're going to tell her the code so she can get you your consultant number. And you're then for $10, you can't even get a Starbucks for that and an egg bite. So get your consultant number because you're going to get all the answers you want between Mary Kay in touch and your director, and between two nationals. I can guarantee you, we are going to teach you the answers to the compensation program, to how you get leads, how you get customers, because it does us no good whatsoever for you to have a consultant number and sitting there and not knowing what to do with it. We don't get compensated for people having starter kits and consultant numbers. That's not what we're about. That's not our game. We don't do that. We teach women how to build businesses, to be business owners. So if you're asking training questions, I'm like, awesome, let's get you a consultant number so you then can be taught the answers to those things, because it doesn't make sense to train someone who hasn't made a decision. The most important thing is, can I benefit from the things that we have just talked about? And like LYNNEA said, I ask myself the same thing. What do I have to lose? I've spent $100 on stupider things, honestly.
Right.
Really, a trip to Target, and you're like, what did I even get? And then maybe it's still a tag's hanging on the shirt or the dress in the closet still. Mary Kay has a 90% buyback policy. If you get out any products that you've purchased and haven't sold in the last 12 months, 90% you're going to get back. You're taking a 10% risk, you're making a 50% profit, and the bonuses that you can get in your first 4 months offset the 10% risk. So financially, there's zero risk. So really, like, people know less about their degree and will they get a job before they invest in it. They know less about buying a house and what's going to happen to the housing market. Let's talk about getting married. What you don't know about it until you're in it for a few minutes. So, for $10, it gets you in the door. Ask the person who invited you, what's my decisive gift? You got something for being on here. I know they had a drawing that night, and that made me put my agreement in. I didn't win the drawing, but it was good because it pushed me over the ledge. And then you start going, okay, now teach me how. Once you make the decision that you and tell the person that invite you, this is what I liked, this is what I need, get your consultant number, and then we're going to teach you how. And you're no worse for the wear. If you end up not loving it like we do, some people are in for a season, some a reason, some the long haul. And it benefits every single one of those women. So, you guys, we're so happy that you joined us. Your consultant, she may be new, she may be in a leadership training program. It's part of her training to do a follow-up. So she has to verbally, like voices going back and forth on a telephone, not typing on a text. What did you enjoy most? If you ever did start a Mary Kay business, what would the reason be? And what would hold you back from getting your starter kit? And then the A, B, and C that LYNNEA was talking about, if it's, I want to be a customer, then I'm going to add on a little caveat. Who do you know that needs to hear this? Because if you can get started for $10, this is an October special. Start now. How many people can you add to your team? There'll be people who start tonight that could have 8 people on their team by Halloween night at midnight and be in director qualification, build their team. Ask your director. Your consultant's director knows the answer of how you build a team between now and January 1st. And you can be in San Antonio. with all the directors in the nation. That is the best internship you'll ever have in Mary Kay. And after you go to that San Antonio, if you decide, I don't want to be in leadership, you still have a tremendous team that you're commissioned on, and customers and your director's happy to take care of those people if you decide you don't want to stay in leadership. But it only happens once a year. And like LYNNEA said, we have a lot of women retiring. So you're going to hear lots of words of wisdom that aren't going to be shared another time. This is a moment in time in Mary Kay. We'd love to have you be part of it. And if you're supposed to be part of it, like, there's going to be no time like the present. So thank you, LYNNEA, for this conversation. I look forward to this journey with you. And thank you, guests, for being on, and consultants, thank you for participating. This will be on my YouTube channel in probably the next 45 minutes. You guys have a great night. Have a great rest of October.